Welcome back to Open Topics, episode number 20. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since I last did one of these. Now, last time I discussed some was more recent stuff like Tim Drake be honest bisexual. I still think that's a dumb idea. Now, the first thing I'm going to discuss is basically my feelings on the fact that, well, a half a dozen titles have been canceled this year. Yep, and it's only August. And some of these titles were canceled just this month. Approximately, like, three of them? Yeah, three. Yeah, so DC has had two titles on this year, which is not all that surprising. They've never really had over the years. I'd say in the last 4 years, they've never had a high amount of axing of books, per se, because they put up a pretty good product. I would say Marvel probably had a lot of cuts last year by this point of books being canceled. This year, not that much. No. Oh, and by the way, the two DC books in this year, one is about to end next month, and that's Batman and Superman issue 22. The other is Superman. Yes, they ended the main Superman title after the book had been relaunched I think it was about 3 years ago the book was relaunched to number one on the Brian Michael Bendis. They just replaced the book's writer. Bendis left issue 28, and you have Philip Kennedy, who took over the book with issue 29. And then, no less than 3 issues after he started, the book ended. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. Well, actually, there was a reason why. They replaced it with Superman. It's basically, you have a book focused on John Kent as now Superman. Which, an interesting idea. Though the rumor I heard, the reason why, here's the strange thing about it. There is a rumor I've heard that in, like, about 15 years from now, Superman, the original Superman, is about to become public domain. I'm like, really? Yes, he's about to become public domain. Despite the fact DC is still publishing him, I'm sure they probably will publish him for the next 15 years. But yeah, he's going to become public domain in 17 years. And then, like, the year after that, Batman become public domain because it's been like 100 years since they debuted. Which, that's the reason, that's the rumor I heard. The reason why is because Superman's become public domain. Why the heck would they start this now? I have no idea. The other book that's ending is Batman Superman. Well, this book is ending next month at issue 22. This is another book they just replaced a writer for, and they're ending it. Roughly 6 issues after the book's got a brand new writer, which is the same guy who wrote New Superman. Yes. Not really sure why, but as far as I can tell, that's pretty much it for basically DC cancellations this year. Marvel, and this is a shocker for you, they have 6 books. Like, the first one to start the year out was Deadpool. And you're thinking, Deadpool? End of this year. Which is quite strange given the fact that Deadpool was a consistent solo book on the regular basis since 2008, after he had not had a title for about 4 years. Yeah, the book, I think, ended about 2002, and it was brought back 6 years later. But solo title-wise, yeah, this book is publishing for 13 years. And this, I think, is quite strange. I'm not sure what the heck was going on in Marvel when it comes to frickin' Deadpool. Because first we have Gary Duggan leave. I think it was just about, I think it was in 2018 he left. I think he left just before Jason Aaron left at the end of his run with Thor. He ended his run issue 300 of the Deadpool series, and he replaced with Scotty Young. Scotty Young had an absolute really good run with the book. It toned out of humor a little bit, not by much, but it was still a really good book. And then the book just ends after 15 issues. And then it was brought back a few months later, relaunched number 1. Obviously. This time with Kelly Thompson as the writer. And then 9 issues later, the book canceled again. I'm like, why? Yeah, as far as I can tell, I'm not really sure what was with the cancellation of Deadpool. Like, you end the previous one with only 15 issues. 15. Like, is the Deadpool character not selling well for an ongoing series? Is that the issue? Like, this was, like, the original volume and the previous volume ended, what was it, 2 years ago, Scott Young ran ended? And I'm like, why in the world would they end the Scott the Young run for? Like, apparently they decided to relaunch it because he left the book for some reason. Like, if I get a chance to, I probably would be asking this question, why'd you leave Deadpool for? Your run was fantastic. I mean, there's no denying the book was really good under him. Bit dark, but it was still really good. Kelly Thompson had a really interesting idea. Like, oh yeah, let's make him the king of Staten Island and basically become Monsterland. I'm like, how can this book not sell? Apparently, I'm not sure, like, this is another book, basically, like in the case of Scott Young run. Why did it end for? Like, apparently Kelly Thompson's got this really big problem at Marvel where, like, here's the thing. Almost all of her titles, except for 2, which are basically Captain Marvel and the recently launched Black Widow title last year, with the exception of these 2 books, apparently these books can't last for more than a year. Like, seriously, this has been a really big issue with her. Like, here's books example, canceled after a very short period of time. Hawkeye, 16 issues. Mr. and Mrs. X, 12 issues. Deadpool, 10 issues. Let me think. I think it was also A-Force. Yes, she worked on that book. She became a regular writer of the book, solo writer with issue number 5, and then 5 issues later, the book ends after 10 issues. Excuse me. I don't think Kelly Thompson's the issue. I think the issue is, for a lot of the books, Marvel just doesn't trust her to keep a book going. Like, either this is basically where she's contracted to end this book at the particular number, or the fact that Marvel just doesn't trust her with these books. I mean, they clearly trust her with Captain Marvel, probably because it's a good seller for them. But why were these other books in for? No idea. I mean, the last issue was a tie-in to King in Black, of all things. Yes, a really good crossover. Oh yeah, and here's the thing. It was mentioned at the very start of the run, there was this like little pet shark that's a pet of Gwenpool. She brought up in story, breaking the fourth wall, is that the last couple times she had an ongoing series, it kept getting canceled. And she figured out putting this pet in Deadpool will prevent the book being canceled. And the book got canceled. No idea why. It is so baffling. Now, I should point out, though, like, in the case of all the titles Marvel, all but one are X-Men related titles. And you're thinking, really? Oh, but one? There's actually one non-X-Men title? I'll get to that. Like, next one was XFactor. After only 10 issues. They just brought this title back just last year after being gone, after not having an XFactor title published since 2015. Yeah, the book ended up seeing publication in 5 years. 5 years. I mean, the book has got this version's got a great premise. Like, have a version of XFactor investigations based in Krakatoa, have their headquarters be a freaking building that's made up of material from the actual ground of Krakatoa, known as the Boneyard. I love all the concepts of the series, and the fact these people will actually investigate murders. How can this Marvel end the book like this? This book was good. Guess Marvel doesn't care. Now, the other books that end, like the next book to end just after XFactor, was Cable. Yes, Cable. This one, I can kind of see the reason why this one ended. I think people were getting sick and tired of seeing the kid Cable. Yes, the young Cable, the one that people do not like at all. Like, I think that this particular version of Cable was forced onto people, and you give them an ongoing series, and I guess they figured out 12 issues is enough, and also because Gary Duncan's writing this book along with Savage Avengers, Marauders, and now currently X-Men. They probably want to loosen the plate he's got by axing one of his books. This book, I have no really big problem with this one ending. Like, you could bring this title back. Just put in the original Cable, and it'd be perfectly fine. But that's me. Now, just this very month, we had the cancellation of not one, not two, but 3 titles. One of these titles was actually canceled just last week. Yes, last week it ended. Now, the books that ended just this month were Runaways, Children of the Atom, and Way of X. Way of X has probably got by far the most baffling amount of issues we canceled. That's 5. Yeah, and the reason why it ended? For a one-shot. Yep, seriously. You end a book, The Way of X, which is a very interesting style of series. I mean, it's a series that featured Nightcrawler. I thought it was sort of like an anthology book. And the way the book was written, it was really good. I could have seen this book lasted longer. Like, even though, yes, the book ended at the 5 issues. I mean, how many issues could I see this book last for? I could see this book lasting for a full year at most before wearing out. Excuse me. Yes. XFactor, that one I can see lasting for a good 3 to 4 years at most. Yep. Deadpool, long time. Children of the Atom, this was another one that... Here's the weird thing about this book. The release for this book, when it was even started, it was delayed like 3-4 times. Like, they kept moving the release date for the first issue of this series. Like, and then they finally released it, Children of the Atom. And you know, the weird thing about this book is, it's the only one of the current line X-Men books that features no character from the main of any of the regular X-Men characters in this series. This is all complete original characters. Excuse me. Where you have these group of 5 people who their powers and their code names are based upon the original 5 X-Men. I mean, clearly these are mutants were clearly fans of the original Fab 5 of the X-Men. But, nope. It was actually revealed, get this, in the final issue of Children of the Atom that, oh, you're going to love this. The fact that out of all the members of Children of the Atom, that's what the group is called, only one of them was actually a mutant. Yes, seriously. Let's see. Yeah, they actually, they revealed that actually one of the members is actually a mutant. Now, who is the actual member who was revealed to be an actual mutant? I think it was Gimmick. Yeah, I think it was revealed that Gimmick. I think she was the only really real member, the only person who was confirmed to be an actual mutant. Yes! And I'm like, really? Yeah, really. I thought this was kind of weird. Now, the person who created Shoot in the Attic, I believe this is the same person who worked on the main series. Vita Ala, who created the actual group. Now, look at a picture of it, Vita Ala. Looks like a woman. And clearly, Gimmick is based on her. Well, mostly, anyways. And I believe this is also the same writer who writes New Mutants. Yep, New Mutants is the current writer of the book. That book is not slated to be canceled. Oh no, that book is not scheduled to be canceled anytime soon. Yeah. But it's baffling. We end the final issue basically revealing that Gimmick is the only person who's part of these group of mutants who's an actual legit mutant. And then you just end the book after 6 issues and just move over Gimmick over to the X books because she's a mutant. And the other 4 are not. I'm like, really? Yes, really. Now, in the case of Runaways, this will be the last of the titles I'm going to discuss. Now, this series was brought back just a few years ago. I think it was brought back in 2018 after fans have begged on their knees to Marvel to bring back the Runaways. And for a long time, from what I heard, the reason why it took so long to release this book was, here was the reason Marvel kept hesitating to release this series. Because they're waiting for a good story. That was the excuse I heard from somebody who actually asked them about that. And, well, we have the current book. Yes, a book that is really good. And, excuse me. And you know the weird thing about this run is, it's actually the longest. Yes, seriously. It is by far the longest run of the title. At 38 issues. Yeah, no volume lasts as long. Rainbow Rowell. Now, here's the thing about this issue. This was acknowledged as the 100th issue for the series, which is great. No problem with that. That's not the issue here. Here's the thing. Here's a question for you. What was the last series at Marvel Comics to have an issue number 100? The answer will surprise you. Guess. Guess what was the last series at Marvel Comics to officially have an official issue 100? The answer is Nova and Guardians of the Galaxy back in 2013. Yes, seriously, it has been 8 years since there's been an issue 100 released at Marvel. And here's the thing. I was not really a big fan of this issue, this final issue when I read it. Basically, the one thing I kind of liked about this book was the fact that Corolla, aka Lucius Nemesis Sky, they actually built upon something that Brian K. Vaughan hinted at way back in Volume 2 of the series, where it was hinted at that Corolla was in love with Nico, and then later on Nico basically outed herself in front of Corolla, and these two became a romantic couple. This relationship I had no problem with at all. It wasn't forced. That was not the issue. I didn't like the ending was because the fact that it put the relationship on hold. Here's the thing about this. Okay, they had Corolla exiled from Earth just because her ex-fiance is alive. Yep, that's the reason why. Because Zava is alive. For reasons. Yes, a character who had not been seen in years. Here's the thing. He had not been seen since 2009. Yes. So, Rainbow brought back a character. Rainbow Rowell brought back a character who had not been seen in 12 years. Where they have to go, like, Corolla has to go back into space. Now, Nico does want to go with her. I would have basically allowed it. I thought that would be fine. No, she had to stay on Earth because she's not part of the Light Brigade. I'm like, that is so stupid. That's her girlfriend. And you leave her behind? Oh yeah, and here's the thing. And this is the most baffling thing about this issue. Like, okay. Like, they have it where Nico gives Corolla her staff. And tells to keep the damn thing. She doesn't want the thing brought back to Earth at all. I'm like, what? This is so stupid. Excuse me, yeah. Yeah. This is something for me, personally. This issue is just, like, it's great we acknowledge 100 issues, but you pretty much in a way shove aside a relationship just because that Salva's alive. And the fact that they had to go back into space for some reason. It is so something. The fact they actually did this. I mean, that's the other thing I like about the issue. And you end this book the way you did. I think this was kind of a dumb way you end your book. By having Corolla leave Earth and leave her girlfriend behind. For no reason. Yes, I don't like this ending at all. That's the only thing I like about the issue. It is awesome that we have 100 issues for Runaways. That is great. But this book did not need to end. In my opinion, I think this ending was kind of forced on the part of Rainbow Rowell. Because I think she was doing a great job with the book. Don't get me wrong, it was a great book. I thought the book was fantastic. But no, we had to end it for some stupid reason. Oh, wait. Oh, I think I know the reason why. The Hulu series is not on the air, so don't need to promote that anymore. Nope, because the show got canceled, so don't promote the damn comic book anymore because the show's not on the air. Yeah. That's my theory of why this series is, because the Hulu series is no longer in the air. So let's just act. Actually, it was on Fox. I think it was ABC. Excuse me. It was on network TV because that show got canceled after only 2 seasons. And then you end the book after only, like, this fine, 30 issues. This book was ended just 2 weeks ago. Yes, I'm sure other people may have felt differently about this book. I'm sure they probably did. But in my opinion, ending this book the way they did was terrible. I absolutely hated it. The rest of the issue itself was fine. It was a great send-off for the series. It just, I didn't like the fact they actually had a relationship like that. I've been enjoying the whole run. Yep. But here we move on to some positive news. Okay, I announced my last video that James Day was going to be leaving Batman, but they did not announce yet who was going to be replacing him. Well, it was announced last night we actually have a replacement for him. Yeah, I heard about this on Twitter from Joshua Williamson himself. He is going to be writing Batman, starting with issue 118 of the current volume of the series. Not for a single issue, an actual regular writer for the book. I'm like, this actually is a really good idea. I love this. Kind of like the same way when I felt when James Tynion came aboard. Like, this guy knows Batman. He basically was taught how to write Batman from Scott Snyder. Williamson is an excellent writer. And he has experience writing the character. Like, writes up like the button, the price. Even though that particular storyline is just okay. It doesn't really resolve much of anything. But at least Williamson basically can be trusted. Because here's the thing. He gave everybody one of the best Flash runs in years. I mean, I love his Flash run. It was fantastic. Nothing wrong with the run. It was fantastic. I loved it. The way it ended was perfectly fine. It seems like this book, he was having a lot of fun revisiting some, like, having the Rogues play a prominent role, introduce a new villain. I think overall, he introduced about 3 or 4 new villains per se throughout the entire book. Like, there was also a mystery he introduced in the series. That wasn't resolved until toward the end of his run. Like, he introduced several new characters. He introduced the Black Hole Organization, the Chinese Flash, who was still a great character, who also appeared in the Justice League of China series. You also had Godstorm, an excellent character. I love the way he developed this character. Oddly enough, he was probably the only writer who actually wrote this character that I can think of. Because, could anybody think of a book that Godstorm appeared in that was not written by Joshua Williamson? Yeah, that is something I thought was kind of baffling about this. I think it was 5-1. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, introducing him, like, he did, in my opinion, an absolute great job with the book. I mean, he made Godstorm a really interesting character. Yeah. He was also, I think, by far the first original evil speedster introduced in years. Like, here's a question for you all. Who was the last known major evil speedster introduced in the Flash comics? And you're thinking, was it Zoom, the one who appeared in Vanity Run? No, they retconned to be actually part of Eobard Thawne. So, I think the last known major one, I mean, you could say Saboteur per se, but he wasn't as big as character as, let's say, Gotham was. I would probably say the last official evil speedster ever introduced in the pages of Flash was Hunter Zolomon, the second reverse Flash. You could say Herda, but he was a clone of Bard Allen, but I'm not counting him. But I think it was Hunter Zolomon. He was the last official one. And he even appeared in this book. Yes, Hunter Zolomon. Yeah, Williamson brought him back, which I found to be so awesome. Like, clearly, if you're a Flash fan, you would love Williamson's run. Excuse me. I know my friend Edgar, he was not really a big fan of the nostalgia stuff. But here's the thing. Yeah, he may have brought back someone like, let's say, well, Hunter Zolomon was for an excellent story. Oh yeah, definitely. It was part of a really good story. I did not have a personal problem with it at all. Yeah. Like, it was part of an actual story. I mean, I don't think anybody would suspect Hunter Zolomon would ever come back to comics. But there you are. There you go. You got basically Hunter Zolomon back. And, like, could Josh Williamson do the same thing with Batman? It's possible. You could bring back characters for a good fan service, yes, but it's not like he basically contradicted stuff established by the writers. No, he didn't. He basically embraced it. Heck, he even brought in Howard Porter, a guy who was a legendary Flash artist who basically drew Flash back in the 90s. Brought him for the big stories. Couldn't bring in do Batman? It's possible. Howard Porter's a great artist. Now, could I possibly see, like, yeah, there's a big event coming for Batman after Fear State, but it could be distinctly possible. This could be a really good event. That's just my opinion, anyways. And I think Williamson's going to have an excellent run. Time will tell when the first issue comes out, which comes out in just a few months. Yep, in just 4 months. We're going to actually, 4 months, we're going to see the first issue released for Josh Williamson's run. And here, like I said, starting issue 118. And I say that with a smile on my face because Marvel, their policy is, and this is still so stupid, and they still do it. They have been doing this on a regular basis since 2012. Like, I would think CB Zabesky would stop this stupid policy. Yes, it's a policy of theirs. That's my personal theory. Every time that these books get brand new writer get onto it, with the exception of Star Wars, that's the only one kind of affected by this. I mean, it took until the writer changed the third time to finally restarted the title. Because it's like, so we replace this writer, so, like, go continue numbering? Nope. Gotta hit that restart button, because Marvel loves doing that for no reason. Because, there is a reason. They love that number one money. People buy number one and maybe ignore the rest of the series. And no wonder why people keep getting canceled at Marvel. DC doesn't necessarily do that. For one thing, they don't sell number ones at $5 an issue. Yeah, they might do they actually have the variant covers actually sold for the regular price. Like Marvel basically jack out the frickin' prices for a variant cover. Yeah. But in the case of basically Joshua Williamson Batman, I definitely think it's a good idea. That's just my opinion. My friend Edgar himself just doesn't care. Because he didn't like Rebirth. He thought it was a piece of garbage. Me, I loved it. I thought it was really good. But my friend Tivia, I don't know what his opinion is on Josh Williamson Take Over Batman. I think it's good. I mean, is he going to... Now, did Tiniev did anything like controversial during his run that got a lot of flack? No. He wasn't on the book very long to do that. Not as long as, let's say, Tom King. I think he was on the book for like 3 years before he finally left. Now, Williamson came up... Tinie came aboard issue 86, and he's leaving 117. That's only like 32 issues overall. I mean, was anything really bad on this adventure? No. Nothing was bad. I was surprised when he decided to leave. But is there somebody who actually is a good writer? Josh Williamson. Yep. But yeah, not much else to say about it. What do you guys think of basically what I said in this video? Basically the series ending and of course my thoughts on Josh Williamson taking over Batman. Yep. I like to see in the comments below. Okay? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I haven't really done that because I just basically never thought of doing that. But apparently, according to some people, you have to do that if you want your YouTube channel to survive. Me personally, my YouTube channel is doing pretty good. I mean, I'm getting pretty good videos. I appreciate that. I appreciate my subscriber count going up, not down. Now, have I got many dislikes of videos? Not really, no. I haven't got that many per se. The most I get is like 1 or 2 at most. I think the most I've had is maybe 5 in one video because probably some people didn't like my video for some reason. I mean, I practically do the same style of video every time. Me talking to a camera. No flash, no fancy like special effects, whatever. I don't have the budget to do that. It's just me talking to a camera. I have been doing this for 8 years now. So the only get changed, it basically, I get support to do that. Otherwise, though, I'm probably not going to change. Okay? So, you're probably thinking also, where'd the Shaman game video? Was there an episode release today? Yes. But there's no website that uploaded it. The two websites I use, they don't have it. So I have to wait till tomorrow to take care of this. Okay, not the first time I did this, but okay. I'll wait till tomorrow to take care of this. Right? Yeah. One Piece. That might happen today, who knows? It depends, okay? But until next video. Bye.